This version of It's Eric Nagel has been modified from its original broadcast. Content has been edited to fit this platform.
Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see.
It's Eric Nagel. It starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear, it's Eric Nagel.
And thank you, Scott Shannon. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the program. I am Eric Nagel, and joining me each and every week, right over... Oh, it was supposed to be the Fun Camp. Hold on, we'll do this again.
I figured we were trying something new.
And then there's Jordan. Hi, Jordan.
Hi, everybody.
How's everything out in the frozen tundra of Arizona?
It's good. Been hectic, but not too bad. It was
no floods, no fires. Everyone's 10 fingers and toes.
So far, everyone's alive and well. No issues. No travel issues.
Fantastic. All right. Before we get to all the rest of the stuff on today's program, if you're listening on the iHeartRadio app, thank you very much for doing so. If you're listening to us at another time, Apple, Spotify, one of those kinds of places, do us a kindness. Go over there, leave us a positive review. It does help out the program. Or if it does like a number or star system, max it out to the most positive end, and then if there's a comment, you can say whatever the hell you want. That part doesn't matter to us. As long as the review scale thing is positive, that is all we care about. If you want to join us live each and every week as we do said program, you can go over to our live rooms on YouTube and on Twitch, all under It's Eric Nagel. And if you missed all of that stuff and you want to see it at another time, the fully produced version of the show is available on YouTube, usually the next day. Jordan, how was your trip back from San Diego?
It was pretty good. I had originally, after I dropped you off, I went up and hung out with my sister, did some just hanging out, like nothing too crazy. I didn't need to be entertained. I just sat there and fell asleep on our couch because you had to get an early flight, excuse me.
Yes.
Early flight. Woohoo. And then, just kind of hung out, had some good dinner, went to Korean barbecue that night. I've never really done like the grill in the middle of your table type Korean barbecue. I got to tell you, it was fantastic. Opened up my eyes to a whole new genre of all you can eat meats that I want to be a part of going forward, but it was fantastic.
Always good to be exposed to all you can eat meats.
Look, all the meats. It was so good. I'll tell
you this right now, that is a contender for the show title.
Early on, we're like less than a couple minutes in. But yeah, and then the next day got up early, stopped off, grabbed some donuts at the donut shop down the street from my sister, and got some gas, got on the road. Originally, I was going to go back down through San Diego because it's about an hour and a half south, and go that way and go back the way I came. But I just figured I'd go the other route, which I got to say wasn't as fun. Like for some reason, there's something around. No, it just doesn't feel as scenic. Like once you get past the Palm Springs Indio area where you get to see the dinosaurs from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, you drive by there and you wave.
Did you get a photo?
No, I've stopped off like a million times there.
Do you have a photo?
Not on me, but I will try to find one for later. You can post it. I'll post it in the thing. We'll put it in the thing.
And complete fail for today's show.
Yeah, they didn't have the "We Miss You, Pee-wee" painted on it because they always paint the dinosaurs differently. So it just says "I Love California" on it, on the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Right.
But you could see them from the highway. They've built a lot around it, so if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it because they are kind of covered, but they are there. I just wanted to get back home.
What do you build around a giant dinosaur in the middle of the desert? Like what
they have
around there? They
have like a little tour that they do now, and then they have restaurants. So they have a gas station restaurant. I still think they have the restaurant that Pee-wee went into after meeting Large Marge. I believe that
diner kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's still there, but it's also there's a little like Mexican food place right by it as well. But that's what's more front facing to the highway. So. But yeah, just got on the road and I think I got home like mid-afternoon and just kind of hung out. So uneventful, easy trip. I don't mind the drive, so it was fun. It did give me opportunity to find new music that I didn't realize was new music. I think Smashing Pumpkins put out a brand new CD.
They're not new music. They've been around forever.
I've never heard of them. I should go see them in concert. But
Billy Corgan, the new CD, Smashing Pumpkins, Homer Simpson, smiling politely.
So good. But yeah, they put out a new CD, or digital download. I think it's like saying rewind. You don't do that anymore, but enjoyed that and caught up on some podcasts and things like that. So I liked the opportunity because I work from home. I don't drive that often. So like I don't get the morning radio bits. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't get to really discover anything unless I'm actively trying to find it. So it was nice kind of coming across something. And
well, don't feel
just doing
bad
that.
because most of the listening public out there doesn't get to discover anything really good on radio anymore. So it's just a sign of the times. We were Jordan, myself, Hollywood agent Rob Stark. We were all out in San Diego for the Morning Show Boot Camp, which is an industry convention where from people all around the country come and they mix and mingle. And there's panels and discussions and talking about the state of the industry and what other shows can be doing and what we all could be doing to help each other and build things up. And we've all come to the conclusion that it's all our employer's fault. It's nobody on the talent side, on the broadcasting side. It's all everybody upstairs. 100% their fault.
Correct.
Right. Didn't know if we brought this up or not while doing the show live at San Diego, but the event was fun. The event was a good time, but it had a lingering of doom over it from the jump.
It did feel that way. Like everyone was either unemployed, trying to glad hand and make connections, and the other people were uncertain of their state of radio.
Correct.
It was a lot of sharing of ideas, trying to see if anyone can spark that interest in what they do. And yeah, it was a whole lot of that I noticed in the short time I was there.
The first day, Wednesday of last week, news came out about SiriusXM, their second quarter. Not good. They lost 172,000 subscribers. And then their music streaming component that they own, Pandora, was down 41,000 subscribers. That's a lot of subscribers.
Yes.
And Pandora has not ranked at all since this whole music streaming thing started. Like, they were kind of the first. And I only found out about it because a woman I knew told me that they stream it in the office. It plays right off their desktop while they work, and it plays in the background. She goes, there's a few ads and stuff, but it's all music. You get to pick what you want. And I said, no. And that was like over a decade ago. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I think from talking to a lot of people, most men found out about it from women that were working that seemed to have found out about it and using it on their computers at work. So they were kind of like the first big deal for music streaming when all this was starting to move forward and get a rolling. Then Apple jumped in, already had iTunes and iPod stuff, and now they're like, well, we should be doing the streaming thing as well. So they got on. Spotify came up out of nowhere. And now you have also Amazon and even YouTube Music. Right. YouTube has their video service, but they also have their streaming music service now. It was pretty much they absorbed Google Play and took that over, and now it's all under the YouTube umbrella. All of those services I just listed far exceeding Pandora. Pandora was the first to start and fell, like, tripped at the starting line, and everyone just ran past them and won the race. And the
thing is when you had mentioned that Pandora subscribers went down, I thought, where have they been? I didn't know they were still around. Like, I've never seen an app. No one's ever talked about it. It's never come up. Spotify, Apple. That's it. In fact, we found out that Tom in Alberta was streaming our show using, I think, like Amazon Music. And I'm like, I didn't realize people still use that.
Yeah, know? I think that ties into your Prime subscription or something like that. So it makes sense why it would be out there. It may not be as popular or as known as like Apple and Spotify, right? But it's nothing to, I'm going to coin this phrase, shake a stick at, and say like, oh, that's not a big deal. It's just something that people weren't playing with. You know, now they can go and look and go, oh, Amazon's got a lot of stuff too. Right. So they've been around for a while. All of them doing better than Pandora. None of the music that gets promoted now, artists on Instagram, on TikTok, anywhere, do this thing, and we talked about it not too long ago, where you can pre-save their album that's going to... So it's almost like the old days of pre-order the music, the CD, the vinyl, the cassette, and the day, that Tuesday it was coming out, you could go to Best Buy or your record store and pick it up because you've already bought it in advance. And sometimes the ones you bought in advance had extra songs on it or cover art or something that came along with it, a Funko bundle, something like that. Don't do that anymore. But you hit these things through TikTok, through Instagram Reels, what have you, pre-save the album so that it all counts. The day that it turns on those platforms, those artists are like, holy shit, you're at the top of the most saved, because that's a thing now, having your album saved, added a playlist. Then, of course, the stream numbers, because they're talking billions for an artist. Like in 1 week, she got Beyonce's, remember that country song that she put out?
Oh, yeah.
It ain't Texas. This is Texas. It ain't Hold. I don't know what the song's called. But she had like 1 billion streams in the weekend or the week that it came out. Same thing with Taylor Swift. We're talking billions now. Millions is kind of meh at this point. Anyway, point of all this is when they go to say you can pre-order the album, pre-save the album, whatever, Apple, Spotify, if you're ordering, they have Amazon links. That you click the thing, takes you right to the page. You're ready to go. It's one click to purchase, one-stop shopping, in and out, done. Nothing is promoted with Pandora. Just like Snapchat.
Again, didn't know it was there.
Snapchat is still a thing, but it's not promoted anywhere, and you don't know anybody that's using it.
It used to be big. Like they used to actually put the Snapchat links in like commercials,
right,
for a lot of things, and it just went away.
And here's where Snapchat comes into play here. Buddy of mine got really famous in the last year doing comedy and mostly impressions. His name is Matt Friend. And Matt was New York guy, was just doing impressions, had little videos that were going viral, and started doing some stand-up, and then it just took off from there. Like, this guy shot out of a cannon. You'd probably see him a lot on Instagram or TikTok. He's doing Trump. He's doing Mitch McConnell. He's doing a lot of political impressions.
Right.
He does hosting features at certain events. He just got a deal now where he's going to be hosting Snapchat's live feed of the Democratic National Convention coverage. He's right there on the carpet.
Weird.
He'll be backstage talking to people. He'll be doing all of this stuff here. From a year ago, when the guy, I was at his first show that he did at Caroline's before it ended. That was a big break for him, getting on to do his own feature at Caroline's. And now look where he is now. He was. I was going to say,
I was going to say the Oscars. I saw him doing a lot of like. People would like want to be like, oh, I know you. Do that impression, and like he would do impressions of the actual person. Like he was talking to Goldblum, doing Goldblum, and I'm like, this is wild, man. And like I saw him on I think TikTok or something like that.
But he just signed this deal, and it's not like this is just kind of a hearsay thing. It's in Hollywood Reporter. It's in Deadline. It's in all these major trade publications that he's going to be doing this, and that's interesting too because Snapchat is never promoted. When you see stuff on television, movie trailers, things like that, you see certain social media handles. Snapchat's not one of them anymore. Same with Facebook. You don't see Facebook promoted anywhere, and Facebook they're still saying is huge, but I don't see any benefit to Facebook anymore, other than it's a way my older family keeps in touch with everybody. I don't see any benefit for helping the show, any of the other shows I've worked on, any of the other places that I worked at. Facebook did nothing for any of this stuff, and there's a million features in there now about buying ads, demographics, analytics, setting up a shop, setting up links for influencers. So if they go to somewhere here, you get a cut for the recommendation. Nobody's talking about Facebook. Nobody's using it anymore. I was explaining this to a friend of mine who does radio, and he's now doing more television stuff. And he's talking about some of the things he's posting. And I go, if you're going to ask people to do something for you on Facebook, you should probably include the link so they can hit it. And he said no, because it cuts down your reach. If there is links that you post on, what is it, Meta, Facebook's platform?
Yeah.
Meta, that if you put a link to something that's outside of a Meta property, they shrink your reach and it doesn't go out to everybody anymore. I go, okay, but if you put out this thing and you're asking them to do something, it's harder to get people to go past another step to open up another app, to go to your thing, to like it, or to share a video or whatever you're looking to do. I think you should just risk it and put the link in there. He doesn't agree, and that's fine. That's what he wants to do.
I'm wondering if the reach is extended, like if the original reach would be just as fine if you would put that link in, like, say, the comments, because I've seen that a lot where they go link or in the comments, because maybe it doesn't
that a lot. And I didn't know what was going on. So apparently, I think it was from the Stern days and stuff. I followed George Takei on Facebook when he was really part of Howard's thing. So I noticed, like, several months ago, he starts posting some kind of, he puts like a graphic or something with a headline on the graphic, and he'd have like a little comment on top of it. And you go, what is this? I don't know what he's talking about. And then you look under, the first comment pinned is his with the link to whatever. So maybe that is something to Facebook that you have to do with that. But past that point, Facebook isn't helping you.
No.
With all of these things. It's not the reach that it used to. I said, you got to stick to the main four for social media, at least for now, unless something changed. And he goes, what do you mean the main four? I said, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Those are the main four that does anything for anybody anymore. And he's like, well, no, I still have this. And it's like, that's fine, but how's your reach for, your audience are there? Is it growing? Is it standing still? It doesn't do anything. At least with Twitter, whether you like it or not, whether you like the content or not, it doesn't matter. But there's more of a chance for people to accidentally find your stuff on Twitter if you're tagging the right thing, like a hashtag, or even if you don't. Because the Doctor Who video we had blew up.
Right. Oh, my God, yeah.
Because of my comments about the finale of Doctor Who. And it went fucking crazy because other people were upset with the finale, upset with the season, what have you. That got sucked into that little zeitgeist and went out all over the place. And I got tons of people screaming at me for my opinion. But
that's engagement. Like, who cares?
Engagement, and it accidentally finds a new audience.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram kind of does it the same too. You got to be a little bit more clever with the hashtags, but it does have the potential.
Well, it's because Instagram is part of Facebook. It's part of Meta. So
Instagram is bigger as far as use than Facebook is.
Correct.
Now. They'll say otherwise, but I disagree. I think more people use Instagram and find out their information from Instagram than they do from Facebook.
Right.
TikTok is a great way of accidentally having your stuff be found by other people, unless they don't like it, and then they put a throttle on it, and there's no chance anybody finds it. So it's 50-50 with TikTok, and YouTube, the same thing.
Well, I'm finding even with YouTube that long-form videos, like with my other show, a lot of like our regular videos don't get a lot of run, but I've been creating shorts, I've been creating the reels, I'm doing all that stuff, and those things blow up. I've seen upticks in all the viewership on just those things, because people just don't have the attention span to sit there and watch, an hour-long show, 2-hour-long show on YouTube. They're hitting those reels, and the numbers are staggering. Like, it is just blowing all of the normal videos out of the water.
One of the things you learn when you're trying to do a lot of this stuff, if you go to conventions, if you go and watch videos that are breaking SEO stuff down and other analytics, one, you realize nobody really fully knows how all this works. They say they come close, but no one has a definite answer or an answer that matches the other things or the other people you talk to. Two, they try to cater to, like, this is what people are watching. Look at how many views these things are getting. Yeah, that is a 10-second clip.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be somebody falling down or getting hit with a cart in a parking lot and getting hurt, or a cat doing something, or kids saying, profanity or whatever. Those kind of things. A woman that's walking very sultry, she's in a revealing outfit, and those are the things that get all the views and the follows, the likes, what have you. And rightfully so. But you can't take your content and say, how do we cater it to the people who want to only see these 10-second to 20-second clips? A lot of the shit you can't. Some of your stuff, like, you try to break down. If we had a celebrity guest on and they just said something bizarre, ridiculous, or even would catch your attention, right? You'd put a 10-second clip up there. That might work. But you're doing long-form programming, it doesn't work like that. If you try to put a 1-minute clip, you barely getting it to tell your story, but that's a better time frame than some of these other things. And they're like, well, that's the future. That's where everyone's going. It's like, no, you're allowing that to be the future and saying you have to do it that way when you don't. Yes,
Yeah.
you're getting hundreds of millions, and you're probably making some money, decent money. I guess it's not something to live off of, but you're making some decent money. But you can't now change everything you're doing to fit that one specific little area of media and say, all I do is now focus on that 10 to 20 second window for these shorts. You can, but your content is so disposable at that point, unless nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares about longevity for their stuff. Like, get it all out there, get everything, and then I walk away. Could be that too.
Maybe.
Anywho, Pandora, terrible. Sirius, terrible. Thursday came around for San Diego. Alpha Media, which is another media company for radio, medium-sized company, laid off a lot of people around the country as well. So that was looming. And there were people at that convention who lost their jobs while at that convention.
I couldn't imagine.
Friday comes along, and there's a lot of scuttlebutt, a lot of hearsay that iHeart's going to be doing something. And apparently some stuff happened on Friday, but it was I wasn't fully sure what it was, but it didn't seem to affect either anyone I know or anyone that was at that convention.
Well, and this is all during the time where I think was it Sirius that announced that they are going to now kind of preload Sirius into people's cars with commercials, so giving them access to Sirius for free, basically inventing radio.
Yeah, so that seemed to be like a knee-jerk reaction, even though the article or somebody was saying from Sirius is like, no, we've been working on this for a while. Oh, have you? Because you knew this was coming and how bad it was getting. Last year, you can look all this stuff up. Last year, their end-of-year report came out for the fourth quarter saying that they had a record year of profits, that they were doing fantastic, but they also had a lot of layoffs last year. Right? And their subscriber growth was non-existent. In fact, they were going down on subscribers, but they had record profits. Okay, so you cut corners, you cut staff, you did whatever, yet you opened up a multi-million-dollar studio 2 blocks from the president of the company's condo in Miami, and that somehow that was deemed a good business decision. So good on you for that. The first quarter comes around. Subscribers down again. Second quarter, like we just said, down again. They're not making the money that they were making. We had this planned. This was always in the plans to turn on the radio in the cars, but it has ads. So radio. Mm-hmm. You were supposed to be the alternative to radio. You were supposed to be something different, new, and innovated. Sorry, and they dropped the ball 12 years ago. I think around the time that they stole the merger from XM. And brought us over there, we could see how everything was changing. At one point, when we were running the Opie and Anthony channel, we had on our channel Kevin Smith's Smodcast. We had Bill Burr doing a podcast. We had parts of Joe Rogan's doing a podcast there. Bobby Kelly was rotating, doing stuff there. I think Joe DeRosa was doing some stuff. Rich Voss and Bonnie McFarlane, Dr. Steve's Weird Medicine. We had all these offshoots that wound up becoming very successful and very entertaining podcasts on their own right. But we got to the point where it's like, you got to pay these guys. They're doing it for the exposure, but they got to pay for this stuff. And they didn't see the value in paying for any of these people. So Bill Burr walked. Made sense. Rogan didn't want his show being cut up to fit under an hour if we weren't going to pay for this stuff. So that went away. Kevin Smith was starting to do all his 19 other podcasts, so he didn't need us there anymore. And and that's fine. But everybody else was just like, well, all right, it was nice for the exposure, but we should be getting paid now. You want a show every week from us. What are we supposed to do? Saw no value in it. Now they're throwing millions of dollars at anybody to get a podcast with a name on their platforms. We were ahead of the time, but we saw the writing on the wall, like this company doesn't know what they're doing. They don't care. They're just into meeting celebrities, all about celebrities, branding with celebrities. And when they realize it's not delivering and their celebrities realize, oh shit, this is work. I don't want to do work. Then it all falls apart. And this is where they're at now, and rightfully so. I have yet to go into my car to see if they turned on the satellite radio. I have not listened to satellite radio since I left, because that week that was it the week? The next day, I think I was done on a Thursday. The Friday, I remember having it on in the car. 5:30, it turned off, and a little voice, animated voice thing came on saying I had to call to renew my subscription and stuff. And I was like, wow, those assholes! I will never give them another dime, and I have never given them another dime. But yeah, so Sirius said we're going to turn on the radios in the cars, but it's commercials. But if you want a commercial free, then you pay for the subscription and stuff. Well, maybe I don't want it. Maybe nobody wants it. I doubt the music channels are enough to bring people in there for free. It's like, I really like this playlist on the Ozzy's Boneyard. Or I'm listening to this micro channel. Oh, it's Pearl Jam Radio? Cool. Every 4 hours, it's the same fucking show over and over that they're looping.
Yeah, and then there's
Who
no
needs
personalities for me to like connect with and be a part of. Like, so I don't care enough to listen to somebody else's cultivated playlist. I have stuff for that.
Yeah.
All my streaming services can do the same thing. Apple makes playlist if I want that. I don't need some computer program to do the same thing through my radio because everything's connectable now.
So, so the whole thing goes on. I fly home. I left early, by the way.
You did.
I left early. I left 7 a.m. on Saturday, and a lot of people were telling me, it's like, why are you leaving so early? There's still more stuff going on. There was a women's brunch happening.
I know.
I got yelled at for not wanting to attend. I go, it's a women's brunch. Why wouldn't I go? And they go, it's for everybody. I said, it does not promote that at all. It sounds like a women's only event. Why would I go there? Not that I would say no if I was invited, but I just assumed, well, this is a woman's thing. It's only for them. And that's fine. I'm not even complaining that there's a woman's brunch. I just didn't know. No, it's supposed to be for everybody. And I said, well, honestly, it wasn't promoted as such, which is why a lot of people left that day, didn't go to the thing. There were a lot of people there, but there could have been more, but everybody kind of left and went back home because thought it was women's brunch. Anyway, so I want to show you this real quick, and then I'll get into what happened on Monday. So after all, you can listen to the live show. It's up on the YouTube channel there. Disaster trying to get out there because of Tropical Storm Debbie, whatever, was causing so many problems. The way home, so much easier. Jordan drops me off at the airport. I took photos. 5 a.m, this airport is mobbed.
I couldn't believe it. When you sent that to me, I was like, oh my God.
Wall to wall people trying to get to the line to get online for TSA.
And again, this is around 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
On a Saturday.
So what the hell's happening here? I try to find, I have clear, I have pre-check, I have all of that stuff. The clear is buried in the TSA line. Like I actually have to go around the TSA line within their structure to get to the back part. It's a horrible design at that.
Yeah,
airport.
that doesn't make sense to me.
But I got to cut all these people. So I'm cutting through over there. And as I'm at the halfway point, I take a photo behind me and a photo in front of me. I send to Jordan. I go, imagine if you didn't have any of the other specialty stuff. I never would have. My flight was leaving at 7.
Yeah.
I never would have made the flight with how long these lines were.
Nope.
So got to clear, scanned right through the special TSA line. I think I said PSA earlier. TSA line and 10 minutes.
What's great is that the picture that you sent to me is one of those pictures where you kind of take this like high selfie. So you kind of see like eyes to top of head. And then behind you, there's this lane of just nothingness. And you're just like strolling your way through and then just wall to wall people all the way. It looked like a madhouse. I couldn't believe how busy that was.
If you give me a second here, I should have transferred this over. I apologize for not have done this sooner. I'm transferring it over to the computer here so we can take a look at it.
But the funny thing is like you told me your flight was at 7, and back in after 9/11 and for years after, people would always tell you got to be there hours ahead. You got to be there at least 2 hours ahead.
Right.
It kind of mellowed in some respects where I've never felt like you still had to get there 2 hours early. In fact, it's become like a running joke now where it's like dads are always trying to get their family to the airport 3 hours, 2 hours ahead. It wasn't until you sent that picture then I realized, I'm glad we got there when we did, because
Oh yeah.
we stayed up a little bit later. We both got up. You
went
woke
to
me up.
sleep, though. That we didn't do like
We were
what
partying.
Trevor would
We're
do,
old
or
people.
other people there would do, is where they were partying nonstop or hanging out, and they go, "Well, if I got to be there so early, it's no point in me going to sleep because then maybe I'll miss the flight.
Right.
So why bother doing that? I'll stay up and I'll sleep on the plane, whatever." We were kind of like, other people were at the bar. They went to a different bar, and then they were back at the hotel bar, and you saw some of the people. They were enjoying themselves.
It was packed, yeah.
A lot of them were having too good a time, I'll say. And
three sheets to the wind.
Stumbling around a little
quote.
bit. And we said, no, we're going to get dinner, and then
we didn't even get dinner. We went and got ice cream because we had such a late food right before we did our live show that we were all still kind of full. So we went to Salt and Straw with Rob and
Salt
Anna.
and Straw, and then
we
went
did
to
that.
Jack in the Box.
And then we went to Jack in the Box for Eric because I was full from the ice cream, full from the Mexican food. But there was no chance we were letting you leave San Diego without getting the Jack in the Box. So yeah, we did the drive-through, got your food, and then we went back to the hotel and just hung out. Like
I packed.
Rob took off.
I was folding you were just laying down, watching whatever. We were watching Stuttering John stuff. That's what it was.
We were doing the Dabbleverse. Yep.
Jordan's now enjoying.
I'm all in, man.
The Dabbleverse stuff, watching the nonsense that is Stuttering John. DabbleCon 2, by the way, is this weekend. If you're going up to Rochester and you don't have a ticket, tickets I know are still available. But we got the live stream pass, so we can start watching all of this stuff.
I'm so excited for it.
I know. I got to send you the link for it because it's going to be fun. Anyway.
But yeah, we weren't partying. We weren't having
We were watching that. We were watching
bender.
Uncle Rico's show, just make fun of Stuttering John. I'm packing. I'm ironing. I'm doing all the stuff, getting everything ready to go. Like responsible adults.
Yeah, very responsible.
Crashed, went to sleep, got up in time, went to the airport. These were the photos here. So this was behind me.
Like, look how clear that lane is behind you, and then look at the mob of people stuck in this line.
So if you see to the top right, you'll see like a white glowing ring behind the people. That was one of the areas of clear that doesn't have the pre-check stuff. So you got to go over there. No, sorry, that was the clear. That's where I had to go check in. Apologies. Mm-hmm. That's where I had to go check in. But then you see the people up to the top left where they're walking. Right? It goes down past there, all the way past where that sign is in the back of people waiting to get on the TSA line. Now, that's behind me. In front of me, look at all that.
Yep.
So those are other people coming in from the other direction of the airport trying to get into the lines to get just to regular TSA to check in with security to get to their flights.
And again, this is 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
It's still dark outside. The streets are being cleaned by street sweepers when I went to go pick up the car. Like, it is, the outside world is dead. This is where everyone was at. This particular airport.
So 10 minutes, I get in and out. I was loving life.
I was going to say, you were texting me before I even really hit the 5.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, lucky you.
Yeah. So it's great having those perks. So walked past everybody, right to, I had to get something to eat. They had a coffee bagel place. And
I was going to say, I can't imagine
West
anything
Coast does
really
some things right. A lot of food you don't do right. Bagels is one of them. I guess if you're in certain parts of LA, they do. But this was like
but you're going to pay a premium for
bagel
that.
I've ever had. It was flat. It was thin. They wanted $5 just for the bagel, and they gave you like a non-dairy creamer size thing of cream cheese for the bagel. I just
ridiculous.
wanted to throw it in the garbage and just said in utter disgust. I'm like, this is blasphemy. But anyway, so I get on the plane, load everything in, have the priority boarding. So I get in right after armed forces members, people who need assistance, people with small children, and then priority boarding. So I get to cut the line and I go right in. I'm get all set up. Plane, I'm not paying attention. I'm on my phone. I'm doing something. All of a sudden they said, all right, the plane is closed. We're getting ready to taxi to the runway and all this stuff. And they start the whole video with the the safety stuff for the plane. And I realized no one's sitting in the row with me. So
you got lucky.
I got the entire row to myself. Here I am. Nobody's sitting next to me.
Wow.
So I flipped the arms up as soon as we hit 10,000 feet.
And I laid across.
I flipped the arms up. I had a Bloody Mary. I put the mask on, and I time traveled back to the East Coast.
I was going to say, you sent me the little setup that you had in front of you. You had your travel olives, you had your little Tito's, you had all your stuff. I'm like,
there.
He is all set. So he is going to disappear.
I ordered a Bloody Mary, and I just downed it real quick. Put the mask on, had a pillow, just laid there. Now, the other side of the aisle is a cramped family of 5 in 3 seats.
You're all stretched out, legs akimbo.
4 of 3 seats.
Oh,
so
that's hilarious.
Father's on the aisle, mother's in the middle, little kid, toddler to whatever's above a toddler, 5, I guess, sitting by the window. They have a 1-year-old that is now standing in between her legs on the floor, toys, doing all these things there. They're cramped. They're all there. And then there's this guy who could have been nice and said, do you want to take the aisle seat? I'll sit over here and you could spread out a little bit. No, I lifted the 2 arms up and I, with my hoodie, made a blanket and went to sleep.
Good for you. Good for you. The traveling that you took to get out to San Diego was so horrific. You deserved at least that return flight.
Yes, it was fantastic. I woke up about an hour before we landed. So a little over an hour. So I woke up. I just kind of sat up like the Undertaker, realized what was going on, checked the on-screen TV for the flight map.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, I got some time. Went to the bathroom real quick, came back, sat down, watched an hour of Umbrella Academy's new season, and then got off, enjoyed my day, went home, crashed, and then woke up. It was Sunday. So Monday comes around. And I see a lot of people that I know. I wake up Monday, I check my phone, and there's a massive firing from iHeartRadio. So a lot of the people that were at the convention that did not get fired from Friday's thing or anything else that was going on walked into work Monday to find out that they had been let go. And that is a terrible feeling. 1, if it happens to you, yes, absolutely. But 2, for people that you know or respect or are friends with, whatever, and you find out it was like over 200 something names that were revealed that day that they all got laid off, let go, what have you. It sucks. We all we're at a convention where everyone's trying to network, find new jobs, new gigs, new places to put your shows, stations, those kind of things. And I'd say roughly a third of the people that were there got let go during and after that time. Was not the best.
No.
Terrible. But other than that, San Diego, you're beautiful, you're fantastic, and you definitely have a walker problem, which California needs to solve before I come back out there again. But that was it.
Yeah, it was a good time, and it's funny because we went out to a Mexican food place. And the original one that we passed by.
I'll be right back.
So we leave the convention a little bit early. Eric finds out that like some of the panels later on in the day or something that didn't really apply to him. So we go back to the room, grab all our stuff, kind of figure out what we want to do, and then we walk up the Gas Lamps district from the Hard Rock, and we're kind of thinking Mexican because Eric being on the East Coast doesn't really have a good Mexican food gauge of what's good. The other option was possibly Cuban, which sounded great to me since I do have that access. So we're walking up the Gas Lamp. We're trying to find something. Now, the night before, I guess Eric and Rob, Hollywood agent Rob Stark, went to Ghirardelli and passed by what looked like a little tiny taco shop, but the line out the door. So we're kind of trying to find that. So we found a Mexican food place, I think right next to the Cuban place. So we're like, all right, both options are right here. Let's figure it out. We check the menu, and the menu, very fancy. It's got all the artwork on it. It's got everything. But you look into the place, no one is in this place. The guy's like, yeah, open seating. Go ahead, come on in. And we're talking like, $6 tacos, margaritas, things like that. Sounds like a good place. However, not the kind of place I think I would have picked. So we kept walking, and we end up finding the taco place that we wanted. Tacos El Gordo is what this place was called. And this, I tell you, this was like watching an episode of Seinfeld. This is the Soup Nazi episode. This is literally the place was tiny. You walk in and the guy tells you, look, you want this type of food, you go down to the end. You want this type of food, you line up right here. And you want this type of food, you line up right here. And that was it.
Yeah.
There was no giant menu of different options.
You didn't even ask when you picked what you wanted, the protein. You didn't ask for what you wanted on top.
No, you don't get to, you're not customizing.
They just give you everything on there, and that's what you take.
Well, and Eric was smart because this place was packed. So he went and said, hey, look, I have this table right here. I'm going to sit here until you guys are ready. So Rob and I went in.
It was annoying Rob. He's like, just come online. I go, no, we're not going to get a table if we don't. And when I went to do that, the line was out the door and around the corner.
Yeah.
Because this was the place, I guess, the locals go to eat.
Yeah.
This wasn't the glamorous, like, upscale Mexican places that you saw on Fifth Avenue, Little Italy, all those areas where you go and they have overpriced sugary drinks in glowing plastic cups and all that.
Which I feel like that's what that first place that we passed up would have been for us.
Yeah.
Completely empty, kind of gimmicky, probably good, but not what we had. So we go into this place. Rob and I go in. You sat down, booked it, got us a table.
You're right, Paul.
And Rob orders 4 tacos, little street tacos, but they were a good size. But it's a cheat day. And the guy literally goes, "Cool." Doesn't say anything else. Grabs the plate, loads up all the stuff, throws guac on there, throws all the salsa, hands Rob the plate. Rob doesn't get to customize the thing, and I'm like, okay. I ordered 2 tacos and a medium-sized carne asada fries. Same thing. Doesn't ask me anything. Just throws the guac on there, gives me a thing. Great. We pay for our stuff. We go out. I show Eric, look, I kid you not, the medium fries was in a container about that big.
It looked like what a restaurant would serve as a shareable plate.
Yeah, that was a large portion as a medium. And Eric's like, well, I know I'm getting the small. So Eric goes in, gets his food, comes out. We're all cramped at this little table, and we're just loving life. Like, everything is tasty. The only downside, and you'd pointed this out, the only downside is that the salsa didn't have heat.
None of
it had some flavor, but not a lot of heat. And
Nothing.
I don't need things to be making me sweat and burning my palate, but a little bit more heat flavor.
No,
yeah,
you do. When you have authentic Mexican food, you want it to kick your ass a little bit.
A little bit.
And nothing.
I just knew that, if you do too much, then, later on it's just not worth it.
What was with the radishes? Why were they giving us whole radishes?
The whole radish thing is weird. I've seen places do the shaved radishes, especially in Mexican food, like as the garnish, like a little, little lettuce, little radish, things like that. A lot of places around here do vinegared, pickled carrots, jalapenos, onions, things like that. This place did
full radishes.
I think they did
that were
full
peeled
radishes, limes,
jalapenos.
lemons. I think some jalapenos.
Sorry, no, it wasn't jalapenos.
Cilantro.
It was limes.
Yeah, they did
There were
limes.
limes. Yeah.
But this was
Roy
fantastic.
Rogers Fixin' Bar was 2 items. That was it.
It was radishes and jalapenos. The whole radish was weird. I've never seen they just put whole radishes out there. Yeah. And I thought, oh, maybe that's where they store them. No, they cut the tips off, washed them up, stuck them out there. You got a whole radish. Couldn't imagine eating that. But you're right. The locals these people were walking by just going, this is the place to be. This is the place to eat. And like, a lot of people were pointing at
One guy was doing
this was
tours,
great.
Remember?
Yeah.
He was a tour guy.
I remember that.
And looked Mexican. Yeah. And he was saying, this is the place you go. He's like, $4 tacos, this and this. The food's fantastic.
And that was the best part of it, is that those tacos were, I think, like around $4, like under $4, like $3.95.
Yeah.
I spent $20. I didn't even finish all my food. It was just so delicious.
Yeah.
And then, so that was, for someone who has access to that type of food all the time around here, that was a great choice. That was perfect. Like, I didn't feel like I was like, oh, it's more of the same thing, but I'm glad you had your. No, I enjoyed every bit of it.
I want Mexican food again. I want to go back.
Just
next
sounds
time
so
we
good.
do go to Tijuana, and we go there and get the food.
All right,
we roll the dice. I know a lot of them go down there for debauchery.
Yes.
Then you got these 3 guys going here, and he goes, well, "Where's a good place to eat?" What? Do you know? It's like $5 for hookers and stuff over there. It's like, no, we just
want tacos.
I'm looking for a good enchilada.
Yeah, I need a burrito. Hook me up. Yeah, so that was really good. Like very surprising because I was when you talked about going to possibly do Cuban because you guys had seen that Cuban stuff the night before. I was sitting there going, Cuban sounds really good. I don't get a lot of Cuban food in where I'm at, and I don't want to feel like going to Tempe or whatever because it's like a 45-minute drive.
I do, so
I don't go out of my way.
I don't.
Right.
I was kind of like I'll never turn down Cuban food, but
right.
I really wanted it Mexican because I was that close to the border. I was like, I want something authentic, you know.
And there was a lot of options as far as food goes because they kind of shut down the street in the gas lamp and people start putting the tables out. It's like it becomes a whole scene. So I think our choices were good. I think going to Salt and Straw, those choices were pretty good. And then how was your Jack in the Box? I know
Jack in the Box was fantastic. I got the sourdough Jack,
of course.
And it was not what I thought it was going to be, but I wasn't disappointed in it either. Yeah. So I've had sourdough hamburgers where it's like grilled onions and some kind of special sauce on it. Yeah. Right. This had bacon, mayo, ketchup, tomatoes. Had I known, I would have asked to throw mustard and pickles on it too, and really went to town with it, but it did not happen because I didn't know that was on it. Jordan said that it's mandatory to do the 2 tacos.
You have to.
So
At
I
least
got the 2 tacos. No, I didn't get any sauce with it either. And I saw an egg roll, and I love egg rolls. So I said, all right, I wanted to get the egg roll, and they didn't give me the sauce for that either.
Yeah. They're getting stingy with a lot of places where you have to ask for ketchup. You have to ask for napkins. Like, look, I'm eating this to go. You know I'm eating this in the car.
Yeah.
Give me a napkin.
Well,
but yeah, fantastic. I talked you into the tacos.
It was great. It was definitely worth the wait for it, even though it was kind of shitty that late at night.
Well, and it was funny because that's the best way to eat it is late at night. And you had taken it back to the room. So I'm sitting there on the bed kind of milling around doing my own thing. And I'm looking over at you just fucking listening to the Dabbleverse stuff, just loving life. And we're like literally like waxing poetically about how, this would be better if the cheese was maybe a little bit more melted, but this is good. Like we were just going off and it was good. I'm glad you got to get it. Like I was kind of worried that we wouldn't have time.
We're having our Fat Boy Summer happening in that hotel room.
It was fun. All
right. So San Diego aside, moving on.
Good times.
Where do you want to go to next? Do you want to talk about the Olympics?
I mean, that's a big topic. Yeah, let's do that.
Let's blow through that real quick, though. So a bunch of everybody, the Olympics are done. Their big, grandiose closing ceremonies, handing it over to the city of Los Angeles for 2028. So we have that to look forward to, and Rob's going to live that nightmare living in Los Angeles when the world shows up for the Olympic Games.
I didn't think it was going to be such a big deal. Like I thought, for me, I would want to avoid it. I was talking to my sister. She was up there. And they're actively looking to try to find tickets to an event just to be a part of it. And I'm like, that sounds horrific. Like parking's going to suck. It's going to be congested. I would think I want to be away from that area for 2 weeks.
It's the first time back in the United States for the Summer Games since 1996 for Atlanta.
That's right, Atlanta.
And I worked at that one. And yes, I still have to tell that story at some point. I got to put that together and tell the story of the incident in Atlanta. So here's what was going on. Here are some of the highlights that we, of course, need to talk about. Gold count. Of course, America won, blew everybody away with the not the gold count, the medal count.
Yeah.
I think it was like 140 medals or something they won. Tied China for the most gold won during these games. Everything else inconsequential. Don't care about
126. Yeah, 126 for the United States. Second place, China 91, Japan 45, Australia 53, and that's your totals.
Right.
But yeah, we were sitting pretty.
Don't care about medal controversy. Don't care about whoever else won medals. Doesn't mean anything to me. I'm watching the events and having a good time, and that's about it. There were some things that stood out. One, there was the French pole vaulter, Anthony Amoretti. He lost his event in glorious fashion. Like, if there's ever a way to gracefully lose, this would be it. Now, some people lose, they break down, they cry. You never really see them on camera because they're not live anymore, and they cut away when they show it in the United States. It's prepackaged when they show in prime time, so you don't get to see the losers. You don't get to see the people like who spent their entire life running and training, and only to get destroyed.
Right.
By, some because it like for the track and field events, a lot of it was either America or several African countries.
Yeah.
I think Kenya is one of them. That's big running culture and what have you like that. So when it came to the sprints, the long distance running, all those kind of things, USA, Africa were pretty much the two that you had to deal with, at least for the men's. I think a British woman won one of the white. It was surprising. Pale white girl won one of the races. I did not see that coming.
I know the Netherlands were pretty big. I know one of the women that won, her name is Famke Bol. And I'll see if I can find a video. You got to hear this woman's voice. She sounds like Mickey Mouse.
I know you're talking about. She sounds like
she talks like this.
She sounds like she just ate a bunch of helium.
I'm great. I had a great time doing this. I mean, I wish I were kidding.
Should have pulled that one too. Anyway, so this guy is he's from France. He's a pole vaulter, and I want to show you. Look at the way that this gentleman lost his event. It's upsetting, but I don't think he has anything to be ashamed of.
No, if anything, everyone.
If anything, he's got a lot more opportunities open to him now because of this. Let's take a look here. So he's pole vaulting, and
nope.
Now looking at it quickly, you're like, okay, he hit it happens with pole vaulting. They hit the pole and it falls down, and you what is it called? It's a fault, or you're disqualified, or whatever you do.
It's a fault.
But I want to show you on how he hit the pole. It's not his face. It's not his legs. It's not an arm. It's no kind. Maybe it could be technically counted as a limb. But
this guy, yes.
Right. Here we go. You think he's cleared it. He's hanging over the pole. Boom.
Nope.
His like 7-inch junk knocked the pole off. He was clear.
Yep.
But his wang took him out of contention. This is what else is interesting. Look at the recoil.
Right?
After he hits the pole. Look at that. It's just going up and down like you hit a bed spring. Oh, so ridiculous. Well, he lost, but nothing to be ashamed of. He got worldwide coverage because of doing that. Now, moving on. This was the other guy that everybody was talking about, and it wasn't for anything humiliating or anything adorable, but it was something very admirable, and if anything, intrigued a lot of people and maybe even freaked out a lot of people.
A little bit.
So he was a sharpshooter from Turkey. His name is Yusuf. Everyone there, properly trained, skilled in handling their weapon, and all the safety precautions are in place. People have their safety glasses on in case of any kind of recoil. They've got the helmets, not the helmets, the ear
goggles. They got, like, some of them were wearing eye patches to block out light. I mean,
they can focus and what have you. Look what this guy does. He picks up, he eyeballs it. Look at that. Everyone else is like, they got their arm behind them. They have the headphones. They got the goggles. They got everything there to focus for safety precaution. He picks it up, kind of like he's going to show off, like he's a mad gunslinger in the Old West, and he's like aiming at cans on a fence post. Just standing there, hand in his pocket, not really giving two shits about what's happening. And they go to shoot, and his turn there. He's that one. He's not on the bullseye, but a little later on, he goes to do the bullseye. It's this one here.
Look at this lady. She's got like things blocking her eyes. She
looks like she works at a Wendy's.
Yeah, she's about to give me.
She's got like some kind of sticker over her glasses. Look at him. He was eyeballing it, dead center, bullseye, right there. Amazing.
He's got one hand in his pocket and the other one's winning silver medals.
Yes. What is it? You ought to know. Not you ought to know. One. Yeah, that's the song, right? One hand in my pocket. Alanis Morissette. the 2024 version.
I don't remember.
Good on him. That guy just picked it up, eyeballed it, and he won all the top row stuffed animals at the carnival.
He was so just cool about it. Like he just walks up, hand in pocket,
nonchalant.
Very.
So, now we're gonna get to probably if you thought the guy losing the pole vault to his wang hitting the pole was going to be the highlight, the main highlight of the entire Olympic Games. Well, they introduced breakdancing this year, and it's not an what do they call them when they're exhibition? It's not an exhibition sport.
Right.
It's not a demonstration. It's an actual competition. This is the first year they're doing this.
And last.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Because of this performance, it is now the last. They've removed it. It will not be part of the next Olympic Games. And they don't know if it will ever be back. So, as ridiculous as this is, all the other people who've trained, who've competed, who are skilled dancers, breakdancing, whatever it is you want to call it, but it's used for music videos, it's used for Broadway stuff, those large presentations, those kind of things. Mm-hmm. It's used for all different kinds of theatrical performance. Musical performance, touring dancers for musicians around the world. There's a skill and a need for it, but not necessarily at the Olympics. But these people worked very hard, trained for so many years, and this was their chance for it to just like, we're going to show everybody that this is a serious competition and
showcase the talent and the skill. Like this was if anybody's going to be watching, this is it. This is the moment. And
it was all great up until the fact that they had somebody called Ray Gunn from Australia. Rachel Gunn is her name?
Correct.
She goes up there and, well, let me show you what she does.
Well, and mind you, to preface this, she is a professor of dance and hip hop history in Australia. She teaches the history of this stuff and apparently has done this kind of stuff in Australia.
Okay. Well, a lot of people think she was a plant to set up to this, like this was a stunt. That somehow they don't know how she qualified to get here. Right. And then this is the performance she put on. Embarrassing to the, I don't even want to call it a sport. Embarrassing to the dance genre. Embarrassing to Australia. And embarrassing to the Olympics. That this was a thing. Now she comes up here. Look at this. She dances like Elaine from Seinfeld. Or, you know the part in Thriller where they're doing the hands up like this and they're going like...
Oh, the memes from this dance are... I even sent one to my sister today where it looks like she's doing this. Yeah. And it's Timmy from Jurassic Park hiding behind the thing. So it looks like she's the Velociraptor. Like, this is... She'll never live this down.
There's one where she's like this, and there's another one where Biden kind of fell off the last step coming off of Air Force One, and he's kind of hunched over. It's the memes are hilarious. Look at this here. Look at her dance.
It's like she's doing pratfalls.
Yeah, this looks like when somebody like a little kid thinks they know how to dance, and they go out there and just start flailing their limbs around, thinking they know what's going to happen and how this is all going to work.
Ooh, the cobra.
Yeah.
She does the kangaroo at one point. It was embarrassing to watch. It's funny, but it's embarrassing because then you watch some of the other competitors. I think I ended up watching the men's competition that Saturday night after I dropped. I was hanging out with my sister and we were watching the Olympics that night. We watched some of the 4x100s and all those races, and they were showing the men's competition and the talent difference. Even if it's men's or women's, it was well beyond what we just watched, like insanely different. And I'm like, how did she do this? How did she get in this? It's that's
what
sad.
A lot of people were wondering. It's like, this has to be a stunt. This has to be some kind of prank. They were investigating, and they found out that she was a legitimate teacher and instructor for this thing. But then she puts on a performance like this, and you go, did she not even care? Was she just fucking around to find out? Like, you don't know.
She lost a bet. over a big pint of Foster's.
Well, she put out a video to address all of this. So this was her response after the world decided to make her a blooper reel, make her a meme, make her famous.
Yep.
This is what she had to say.
Hi everyone, Ray Gunn here. I just want to start by thanking all the people who have supported me. I really appreciate the positivity, and I'm glad I was able to bring some joy into your lives. That's what I
A lot
hope.
of joy.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize that would also open the door to so much hate, which has frankly been pretty devastating. Well, I went out there and I had fun. I did.
Pretty devastating. I saw a video of somebody made a cutout of her, put them on the back part of their windshield, and put their legs on the windshield wiper, so as she's convulsing, it's doing her dance from the Olympics.
Take it very seriously. I worked my butt off preparing for the Olympics, and I gave my all, truly. I'm honoured to have been a part of the Australian Olympic team and to be part of Breaking's Olympic debut.
Honored to be a part of their debut, and that performance was the sole reason it is not being brought back.
Goodbye.
What the other athletes have achieved has just been phenomenal. In regards to the allegations and misinformation floating around, I'd like to ask everyone to please refer to the recent statement made by the AOC, as well as the posts on the Ozbreaking Instagram page, as well as the WDSF Breaking for Gold page. Bit of a fun fact for you. There are actually no points in breaking. If you want to see how the judges thought I compared to my opponents, you can actually see the comparison percentages across the 5 criteria on Olympics.com. All the results are there. I'm going to be in Europe for a few weeks for some pre-planned downtime.
She's going into hiding.
I'd really like to ask the press to please...
So get this. She flew to Europe to compete because it was in France.
Right.
She's supposed to go home after that. When you win a medal, or you plan for that, win a medal or whatever, but you come back home even if you didn't win, there's usually some sort of celebration for you by the your country's Olympic committee, maybe your politicians or country's leadership.
You get celebrated a bit.
Yeah, I'm sure the gold medal winners from the United States are going to meet Biden this week or something. They'll go to the White House. It's customary. She decided to, I don't even know if she was at the closing ceremonies, but she decided to not get on the flight to go back home. And it's like a kid who doesn't know what to do in college. I'm going to go backpack through Europe for 6 weeks and just go find myself. I don't think this is the time to go find yourself.
My family, my friends, the Australian breaking community, and the
breaking community. You think they're going to have her back?
No.
You think they're going to have her teaching courses? You think she gets back to whatever studio she was working for or school?
No, the only reason she's staying in Europe is that when she goes back, they're going to give her a booting. A giant boot right in her butt. And it's not a wingtip. It is a large boot. In fact, talking about the boot in a disparaging manner is a bootable offense.
I wish Australia did operate that way.
Broader street
it would bring so much honor and glory back to the country after this.
Everyone has been through a lot as a result of this, so I ask you to please respect their privacy.
Whose privacy? Who's been through a lot? Her.
Just her.
Her. The breaking community is not getting shit.
No.
For this.
No one's
it's
talking
her.
about. No, not one person knows anybody on either side, male or female, who won, lost, or got a different medal. No one has said anything except about this woman right here.
No, nobody.
I couldn't tell. I think U.S. got second in
I'll
men's.
be happy to answer more questions on my return to Australia. Thanks, everyone.
And then she never was heard from again.
Yeah, because she doesn't know how to play knifey spoony.
She disappeared. Oh, well. Well, anyway, that was the Olympics in a nutshell. And then the closing ceremonies happened.
Yep.
And because it's going back to the United States and it's going to Los Angeles, of course, it has to be some way involved with Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, it's customary to kind of hand off the Olympic torch to the next hosting country. That's just usually what ends up happening.
So at the top of the stadium in France, Mission Impossible. What's his name? Ethan Hunt.
Ethan Hunt. Yep.
Ethan Hunt just is coming down off the top of what looks like he's pumping an old brake handle to get down to the Olympic floor here. By the way, the band that was playing, it started to sound like the beginnings of the Mission Impossible theme. The dun, 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 dun. It never kicks in.
I'm not gonna lie. For half a minute, I thought that was Rihanna. I'm like, good for her. It wasn't.
Right. It doesn't kick in. It just kind of lays flat there. I'm going to skip through some of this. He shows up. He's walking through. He's taking selfies. He's kissing people. He takes the Olympic flag from the mayor of Los Angeles, and he rides off in a motorcycle, and then it cuts to a film clip. He's high-speed racing through the streets of Paris here with...
And again, it's him. He's doing all the stunts. He's a crazy person, but good on him.
And he gets to a military base. He goes right up on one of those transport planes. Now, here's what I thought was going to happen in this particular section here. I thought the plane was racing to take off like they always do. Like it's an emergency. Right. You have to catch up to the plane before it starts taking off. No, the plane's parked and ready so that he can just go right up there and then they're about to take off.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been better if that thing was getting ready and he actually... I only say that because Tom likes doing his own stunts. He's jumping off buildings in Dubai. He's falling out of airplanes, scaling cliffs, doing it all himself.
Oh, he's doing this right now. Look, he's packing his gear up. He's putting on his stealth suit.
Yeah.
Open up the back. And you think this is a stunt man? No, this is crazy Tom Cruise. He's just jumping out of a plane.
You know he pays his own insurance for this.
He has to. No one can insure this man.
Nobody will insure him for it. So he takes portions of his money to insure the project. So if this doesn't open on his way down,
oh my God, I know.
Yeah, that everybody else still gets paid and the production can continue because of his nonsense. So yeah, he lands, he runs. It's he hands it off to a lady who's doing cycling, I guess, for the Olympics. She takes the flag. He went and they turned the Hollywood sign. He turned the O's in the Hollywood sign to the Olympic rings. We got to ask Rob to look out his window to see if it does look like that or if this was something they just did.
I don't think they keep it that way. I think they just did it this. There's no way they would keep this up for 4 years. People would be so mad.
No, I mean, right now, the closing ceremonies just happened.
Yeah, but when did they film this? Like, they probably had this in the can 2 weeks ago or before this even started.
Well, anyway, so it goes through a whole series of people, of different athletes and whatever.
I like, by the way, if you scroll back for a second, go for that top shot of L.A., let's see if you can find it. I think it's after this. Yeah, look at that. Look how clean this shot makes LA look.
I know.
This is not LA. I'm sorry. Like, you're not seeing the street vendors. You're not seeing the homeless encampments. Like, this is not what you're going to see. Oh, 100%.
Okay.
So no chance this is a real live shot of Los Angeles.
It's like, remember when Lucifer, they would show his building, the Lux building?
Yeah,
which has nothing. It doesn't have an apartment that Lucifer lived in, but they'd always show those aerial shots around that building, and you look at it like, wow, LA looks pretty cool. And
it looks nice, yeah.
Go 2 blocks in any direction, it's a dump. But here, so he's running through this. So some skateboarder brought the flag into the concert, and then it was
they got all the homeless people off the beach.
Yeah, there's nobody there sleeping, panhandling, whatever. Nothing. Whoops, I meant to take the video off, not you. I apologize. None of that is going on.
Mm-mm.
It's like LA looks fantastic. This looks like 1980s
really sold
LA.
It. Yeah, they sold it. Like, oh yeah, let's go there.
Like Arnold and like Joe Piscopo should be pumping iron.
Yes, Muscle Beach.
At Muscle Beach there. Yeah. It makes LA look attractive. Then they
really
had a
does.
whole concert going on, and it was Red Hot Chili Peppers, which was just like, ugh, really? Really? That's what you get to do for
They're the California band.
Yeah, but they suck. It's all fucking light FM shit.
Could you imagine? They're considered oldies now.
But they had Snoop on there. He did a couple of songs, which went pretty
Snoop,
well.
Snoop has been at the Olympics the entire time. Like, he has been somehow the face of the Olympics. It's right. It's so weird.
Hey, good on him for figuring it out and getting NBC to pay him and be part of all of that stuff. Fantastic.
It's been pretty funny.
For him. All right, so that's your Olympic coverage. Moving on. What was this thing that was breaking right as we were going on here with Matthew Perry? What happened?
Oh, let me open this up then. So, as we know, Matthew Perry did pass away. They found him in his hot tub. They weren't sure drugs were involved yet or not. Well, they did a probe into his death, and today they announced his live-in assistant, 2 doctors, and a woman they're calling the ketamine queen are among 5 people indicted and charged in the investigation into the actor's death.
I found a news clip here if we want to take a look at it here. This is from NBC.
We knew the death of actor Matthew Perry was tragic. His struggles with addiction, anxiety, and ultimately a fatal overdose last fall. But tonight we're learning the shocking depths of that tragedy and about those who law enforcement officials say took advantage of Perry, seizing on his vulnerabilities and supplying him with drugs, in this case ketamine, that took his life last October. Tonight in California, 5 individuals.
What is ketamine?
Horse tranquilizer. It's out on the street. Sometimes they call it Special K.
Oh, okay.
God, I don't know why I know that.
With the death of the Friends actor. 2 of them doctors, an alleged drug dealer known in some circles as the ketamine queen of North Hollywood, and his former personal assistant. Together, federal agents say they are part of a ring that Perry turned to as his addiction and depression grew worse. Chloe Malas joins us now from outside court with late developments.
Lester, 2 of those arrested today, a doctor and the so-called ketamine queen, have made their first apperances here in downtown Los Angeles at the federal courthouse behind me, making it one step closer for Matthew Perry's loved ones for closure.
I guess they had they distributed about 20 vials of ketamine to him for about $55,000.
Aided by greed, including 2 doctors who they say took advantage of a vulnerable Matthew Perry, supplying him with lethal amounts of ketamine, a well-known party drug, but primarily a medication used for anesthesia, and in recent years prescribed as an alternate treatment for depression.
Matthew Perry sought treatment for depression and anxiety and went to a local clinic where he became addicted to intravenous ketamine. When clinic doctors refused to increase his dosage, he turned to unscrupulous doctors who saw Perry as a way to make quick money.
Okay. He went to them to try to get more drugs.
Yes.
So these are like the guys that went to the upstairs medical clinic with Dr. Nick. Like, these are those kind of
pretty
professionals. They were out there. They were just there to prescribe stuff and just say, hey, he looks like an easy mark. He's a junkie. He's a high-level junkie and a rich junkie. We can get a lot of money out of him by giving him all this. Okay.
Among those charged, Perry's live-in personal assistant, who investigators say administered that final lethal dose that resulted in his death last October. Officials say the lead defendants are Dr. Salvador Plasencia.
That looks like Dr. Nick.
P, an alleged drug dealer.
Everybody. Hi,
everybody. Known as the ketamine queen of North Hollywood, according to the Department of Justice.
Could I
Attorneys for both
breathe
did not
more?
immediately respond for comment.
In the fall of 2023, Mr. Perry fell back into addiction, and these defendants took advantage to profit.
The 18-count indictment lays out how over the course of just 1 month in the fall of 2023, prosecutors say the ring of individuals supplied Perry with dozens of vials of liquid ketamine, charging the star upwards of $60,000.
He wrote in a text message, quote, "I wonder how much this moron will pay."
Investigators say that these individuals knew Perry had struggled for years with addiction.
They knew what they were doing was risking great danger to Mr. Perry, but they did it anyways.
After Perry's death, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office revealed the level of ketamine in Perry's body were so high that they were equivalent to the amount used during general anesthesia during surgery. The arrests after Perry's death comes after high-profile celebrities like Michael Jackson and Prince overdosed and died after also being supplied drugs by medical doctors. Jackson's doctor, Conrad Murray, was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in 2011 for improperly administering propofol to the singer.
If you are in the business of selling dangerous drugs, we will hold you accountable for the deaths that you cause.
Chloe Malas, NBC News, Los.
Wow.
That's sad. I know. Like, it's wild, just the amount of drugs in his system, basically said to be the equivalent of being under anesthesia. No wonder he drowned. Like, he was out. It's like, oh, fuck, that sucks.
But the amount that was in his system is the equivalent to being knocked out from anesthesia for surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So he knocked himself out with all the drugs and then drowned in the hot tub because he was knocked out.
Which is weird because, like, he was in the hot tub and I guess the assistant gave him the dose. Like, they said it was a live-in assistant. Like, how do you just leave him alone? Do you not keep an eye on him? You just pumped him full of drugs. No, he's the one that gave him that dose that night. So he was there.
Well, former in the sense of he's died.
Well, yeah, he's no longer with us.
I thought he was like, he wasn't working for the guy.
No, no, he was the live-in assistant. Yeah, it's wild.
Well, that is good that they're going to find him, but man, that is sad for all of that. All right, let's do one more story here, and then we got to go to segment 2 for all of that stuff. There was something that we're missing, I think.
Boar's Head?
Ah, yeah, we could do that as well. Actually, you know what? Let's do the Disney thing first.
Okay.
Before we move on here. So, since we're talking about people who died from things that may or may not have been within their control. Hold on. We got to back up for a second. IROC's in there. $2 super chat. E to the R, aka Hawk. Love you, bud. Thank you very much, sir. Heads up, your audio is always way lower than Jordan. It's like audio for ants. Well, I don't know how Ant's system is working nowadays. Why are these keep popping up there? All right, there they're off. I turned myself down because I saw in some of the recordings recently that mine was much louder than his.
I was going to say, because in my headphones, you sound fine.
Yeah.
So whatever's being put out there is lower.
It's weird for the streaming. The streaming seems to be unbalanced for some reason. But as we're hearing it, it's fine. And then there's another audio channel over here that goes through this thing for radio. And the radio goes through processing and balancing and all that stuff. And it sounds perfectly fine. So I don't know. If I put the radio processing in here as we went live, it would blow everything out, I think. It'd be way too loud to balance it that way. But thank you for the notes, iRock. We will check it out after the show is done here. Anyway, Disney is involved with a death where a guy died from, what did he die from?
He had allergic food allergies.
Reaction. That was food allergy?
Right.
Okay.
So last October, this gentleman went to a restaurant at Disney Springs down in Florida. So eating at a restaurant, was assured that what he was eating was allergy free. And then he died. Allergic reaction.
To?
Let me see if they say. Suffered shortly after. I don't know. Yeah, it's this particular article doesn't say. But yeah, so he dies. Now the widow is suing, claiming that basically she suffered a fatal allergic shortly after eating at Disney Springs. Disney is now claiming, though, that the $50,000 suit should be moved out of the courts because the plaintiff agreed to arbitrate all disputes with the company when he first signed up for a 1-month trial to Disney Plus. So they're saying that because you agreed to the terms and conditions of our streaming service, aka Disney as a whole, because you're on our property, you had to arbitrate first before bringing the suit. So it should be thrown out. That's how they're framing it.
That is ridiculous.
I mean, the legal gymnastics to try to pull that it's one part terrible, but one part impressive that they think that they can pull that off.
Okay, here it says, a doctor from New York University died shortly after she ate at a Disney Springs restaurant in Florida, and her bereaved husband is blaming negligent staffers. The doctor at the NYU Langone Hospital in Manhattan, I actually have been there.
Ooh.
Part of the Langone system. Died suddenly after having dinner at the Raglan, R-A-G-L-A-N, Raglan Road Irish Pub restaurant on October 5th.
I've walked by there. They always have live music.
Need to clear the waste. Oh, okay. So that she had nut and dairy allergies, and she had made it clear to the staff that she had nut and dairy allergies, and they're accusing the staff of negligence. The staff at the pub insisted they were able to make allergen-free food after they checked with the staff multiple times. She had ordered broccoli and corn fritter, scallops, and onion rings.
The
restaurant is owned and operated by Irish partners John Cook and Paul Nolan, not by Disney. So it's on Disney's property, but they don't own and run the restaurant. After Tang Suan?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't even going to try to pronounce her name.
Apologize if I'm getting that wrong. After she left the restaurant to explore the shopping complex when she began to feel sick, she entered Planet Hollywood, where she experienced severe difficulty breathing and collapsed. Though an EpiPen was immediately administered to her, she ultimately died at a local hospital, the lawsuit said. Yes, because nobody dies at Disney. That's the old adage, you do not die on a Disney property. According to the court papers, the medical examiner's investigation revealed she had died as a result of
anaphylaxis shock.
Anaphylaxis, yes, due to elevated levels of dairy and nuts in her system. Court papers claim that Disney advertises and makes it clear to the public that food allergies and or the accommodations of person with food allergies are top priority in their parks and resorts. This brings us to here, where the husband's filing the lawsuit. He is looking for $50,000 in damages under Florida's Wrongful Death Act, in addition to mental pain and suffering, loss of income, and funeral expenses. This is what triggered Disney to say that because of the previous agreement with signing up for Disney Plus, that they waived their agreement to sue them. So I don't know how this is going to work out. In May 31st, the motion filed in Orange County, Florida, Circuit Court. Disney argued that the Disney Plus subscriber agreed that they signed years earlier on his PlayStation, called for any dispute, with the exception of small claims, to be resolved by individual binding arbitration, which is what you had said earlier. So I guess since he went past arbitration and went right to filing a lawsuit, they're saying that none on us at this point here. Do you think a court throws this out because there's a death?
100%.
Because it's not like you signed in a waiver. You know how at certain places when they do the stupid wing heat, like the sauces, some of those places they'll have you sign a waiver because of the pepper levels or whatever the levels are for the sauces, the spices that you're using, that if anything happens to you, illness, some people burn holes in their nose, their esophagus, from all this stuff here, you can't sue them. You signed the paperwork for it.
Right.
If it was on premise and you signed all that stuff, they may have a thing. But when you go, another Disney property of ours that you signed and agreed to says you can't ever sue us unless you go through this proper procedure, that means that applies here too.
Yeah, I mean, basically what they're trying to do is say that 150 million Disney Plus subscribers will never be able to prosecute a wrongful death case in front of a jury because they signed up for Disney Plus at some point. So I can go to Disney, I can get hurt. I can fall off the Matterhorn down at Disneyland.
Yeah, you could be
I
on
can't ever
Space
sue.
Mountain and something comes flying apart and then severs like part your ear off, or you lost a limb or fingers or something like that. And they go, well, back when we had the Disney streaming movie club before Disney Plus, you signed an agreement there to agree part of that, and you can't sue us for anything related to Disney unless you go through arbitration. I was just injured on your park ride that has nothing to do with the movie club.
Right. Yeah, one doesn't equate to the other.
That seems pretty far-fetched.
Right. So we'll find out. They're in front of a judge, I think, October 2nd.
It is Disney. It is Florida. It's a Florida court.
They have
a lot of
lawyers.
pull down there.
Correct.
It could go their way. But anywhere else seems a bit far-fetched. If it escalates past Florida to go to like the Supreme Court, then I think then Disney's fucked.
So here's the thing. Do you think they did themselves a disservice trying to pull this stunt and making it now a national media event? Or would they have been better off paying the $50,000, claiming negligence, our bad, we'll do better, sorry for your loss, and it stays in Florida for the most part, and no one ever talks about it?
I definitely think it would have been cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
To do this, to kind of keep it not hush, but small.
Could you imagine those lawyers are getting more than $50,000?
Reach out directly to these people and go, let's just settle this instead of taking it to court. They cut them a check.
Oh, yeah.
Look, it's money is money. I know, everything's expensive and money.
It's $50,000.
No matter what the dollar amount is, it has a value to the company that has to pay it out and a value to the people who are seeking it. But $50,000 would be nothing to Disney.
That's barely like your daily take at one of the parks that day.
We'll cover the funeral expenses to ship the body wherever you need to. Here's whatever the agreement is, and we'll give you park passes for like the next 5 years or something like that. That's nothing to them, and that would have went. This all would have went away. Remember the lawsuit a while ago where the kid died from an alligator from people staying at a Disney, not a park.
It was a hotel.
One of their hotel properties.
Yep.
Alligator dragged the kid into the lake and died. Now, you have a lawsuit on that, but Disney wasn't saying, because you signed up for Disney Plus and you didn't go through arbitration, you can't make any claims for the wrongful death of your child here. Didn't happen during that time, and that was only a few years ago.
Oh, that was like 10 years ago.
I don't know how they did this. You're right. Disney would have been smarter to just reach out to them directly and try to just take care of it real quick, hose it down, open up the restaurant again, move it on like they used to. But you trying to say, well, you signed something way over here several years ago for a 1-month trial, which you don't even know if he still has the subscription or not. If he doesn't have the subscription, then they're really grasping at straws.
Well, and again, it just shows that like not everything is a fight. Like it's okay to claim our bad and get it over with. The fact that they want to fight everything that ever comes their way. Like Disney is, for all the joy Disney brings as a brand, from the parks to the movies, whatever, they're one of the most litigious companies I think I've ever seen. Like they will fight everybody tooth and nail at the expense of paying these lawyers and just to show we are right.
You got to keep the appearance up, at least. That you can't fuck with Disney for a lot of these things. No matter how small or large it is, they have to show on all fronts that Disney is going to be a problem to mess with if you do that.
So,
well,
it's sad and it sucks.
It's very sad. Sorry to hear that happened, but the old adage, nobody dies at Disney, and they're really sticking to it. So, all right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got to recap some stuff from D23, some of the announcements that was there, and other TV news, TV, movies, and streaming updates to whatever. We'll be right back. I lost wind.
More, it's Eric Nagel. It's Eric Nagel. Next. It's Eric Nagel. Follow the show on all social medias at It's Eric Nagel for ways to watch or listen to the show, both live and on demand. Go to itsericnagel.com. We're back with It's Eric Nagel.
Segment segment 2 of the show. Eric Jordan here with you for all things television, movie, streaming updates, and all that kind of fun stuff. We go through all that stuff. There it is.
I was wondering,
it just wouldn't hit. I was ramping, I was stalling, it just wouldn't do it. Anyway, segment 2, television, movie, streaming updates. We go through everything, let you know what's going on so that you do not have to. We're going to try to rush through this because we had a long commercial break that, if you're watching the video, was all cut out. You didn't get to hear or see any of our political talk and other nonsense. We will just say, him. That's all you need to know. Also, we need to go get food because we're starving.
Hungry.
I'm going to be a little bit of braggadocious. I lost a decent amount of weight.
Good for you.
A lot of my clothes don't fit anymore, so I'm getting new. I'm not used to buying new clothes again.
I was going to say, you're looking quite chilly.
The what?
You look quite chilly.
Yes, so that you knew where I was going with this. So earlier today, I'm standing in my house. There's a bunch of people around, and I go, I can't believe I'm freezing in the house. Now, it's 90 degrees outside, but I keep the AC pretty cold in the house. And I said, I'm going to get my hoodie to put on. And I was just like, oh, God, it's like so weird. I'm always hot. I'm always warm. I love when it's freezing cold. I'm usually never cold. And I said, I can't believe I'm freezing right now. And somebody says to me, well, you know what? That's what happens when you get older. And I said, kindly go fuck yourself. But no, I don't think that's what this is. And then another person said, well, you did lose a bunch of weight, so that's probably why. And I sat there for a second. I go, damn it, I think that's what it is. Now I'm debating, should I put the weight back on so that I stay warm, or am I going to be, start losing more weight and become skinny cold guy all the time? I hate those people that are cold all the time, that they need a jacket or something. I get to the studio. I'm in the studio. Before we start, I'm sitting there. What did I do, Jordan?
You're rubbing your hands together and going...
Yeah, I was blowing into my hands to warm them up because the thermostat says 65 for the studio.
It's so cold.
So I always keep it cold. Keeps the comedy fresh.
And that was the thing that we didn't talk about, how much I loved, and this is going to sound weird, sharing a room with you at the hotel, because you're like me. You dropped that temperature down as much as possible. I was the
62!
coziest.
I got it down
so cozy. I'm just in the bed. I'm like, I'm going to go to sleep. Good night. And I cocooned until 5 in the morning.
This is when, I don't like sharing a room with people because I'm an adult now.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I'm not one of those guys that has friends.
I don't have friends, yeah.
I'm not one of those guys. I'll repeat that. I'm not one of those guys that has friends where you go on golf outings and vacations where you're sharing rooms and stuff. But I am a guy where if I have to share a room with another guy, you better fucking deal with the fact that it's going to be freezing cold in that room, because that's what a guy does. If you go into a room... I was wondering
how Rob dealt with that, because that guy has maybe 3% body fat. He's got painted on Huck jeans, and I'm sitting there going... drop the temperature down, and it was wonderful.
Good for him. He was fine. But if you go into a room and you start turning up the heat, I've known women who I've been in the house with, or if I've been in a hotel room with or something, and they turn the heat up to 78 or 80.
You. Gross.
What are you doing? I'm freezing. It's got to warm up here. No, it doesn't. No. I told you to pack a sweatsuit.
Put on a jacket.
I told you to bring a jacket. Put that on. No, why can't we just wear it? Because I'm not sitting here while you're comfortable. I'm going to be sweating and dying of heat.
Yep.
If I'm comfortable, I know they're going to be freezing, and that's just the way it has to be. Because if I have to be comfortable in order for them. No, sorry, they got to freeze in order for me to be comfortable.
Yeah, but you can layer up and get comfortable in cold weather when you're larger.
You can't cool down in the heat.
No, it sucks, and I hate it.
So I'm also down to the size where I'm in those weird in-between sizes, because men's sizes go 32, 34, 36, 38, like that. And when you're in between,
it's the worst,
because the say the pant size too low is a little tight, and the pant size above is still falling down, and you have to wear a belt. So it's
I'm
like
in the same boat.
It's like Homer with the fish tank and the lobster and the fish, where he's pouring salt and fresh water in there to try to balance them out so they both can live in there. That's what you're doing. It's like, how do I get to a size where I can just get to the next available size where I can wear the pants without a belt? I don't mind the belt, but it's problematic.
No, I get it. I dropped about 15 myself, and I'm still got a lot of ways because I was like, oh, I've got concerts coming up. I got to be outdoors. I need to be better weight. And I'm in that same spot where I'm just in between. And everything that I have that I'm wearing now, if I don't have a belt, comes right down.
Right.
Or I can go down a size and it's tight. And I'm like, fuck, there's no in between. It sucks. So I just have to deal with something I got to cinch a belt real tight around it. It looks awkward. It feels baggy, and it's not a good look. And that's what you got to suffer through in between all that. So
IROC in the chat. Good job, dude. Thank you, sir. I have been working on it for a while. One of the things that has really helped was eliminating soda altogether.
Yeah, just go into water all the time.
So as if you didn't see during the live show, at least 2 times I had to leave Jordan alone because I had to run to the bathroom, because that's where I am at in my life. And it's not old people going to pee all the time. It's because I'm drinking these things.
Yep.
This one's 32 ounce, and I'm going through like 7 of these a day.
Yeah.
So as soon as you drink it, takes 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden you're running to the bathroom and you're peeing like you've never peed in your life. Like your body temperature drops. Like you're sitting there like, oh my God, I have to go. I am now freezing. And you go and you pee, and then all of a sudden your temperature goes back up. And you're like, oh, thank God. That was, I was very grateful to go at that time. So anyway, nobody cares about that. What are we watching lately? I'll start off. I watched the first 2 episodes of The Umbrella Academy, the 5th and final season. I have to go back and watch the rest. And outside of that, other than the news, and I've been prepping for DabbleCon. I've been watching, catching up on who are these podcasts, and Uncle Rico, and Tukey Soup, and El Horrible, and all of that stuff there, as they're all now going to do DabbleCon this weekend. I got our live login, so Jordan and I will be watching. It will be a lot of fun. Jordan, what have you been watching?
Absolutely nothing. I didn't go to the movies. I was going to go see Borderlands until that tanked, and I didn't want anything to do with that. I've been doing a full Seinfeld rewatch just to have something on in the background. Personally, I got a promotion at work, which is awesome. But what I realized is when you get into management, you have a billion more responsibilities, and you find yourself very tired. I mean, I've been struggling to stay awake just playing Sea of Thieves with you the past couple nights.
I know.
And it has been hard, and I've been wanting to stay up and play, but man, I wanted to be old man Nagel and go to bed at like 9 o'clock. In fact, I think Monday night I went to bed before 10 for the first time in years, and it felt weird.
It felt weird, but also when you get up at a normal time, you're like, wow, this is pretty good. This is not usual for me.
So I haven't really been watching a lot of things.
Here's a clip of Jordan at work.
Numbers suck. I'm like angry at numbers.
You're not wrong.
I saw these other clips here. This would have been great for when I was talking about all the radio firings, but I forgot that we had these.
They took my job!
They took your job!
They took our jobs!
They took our jobs! They took our jobs!
They took your job! They took your job!
So yeah, while everyone's losing their jobs, I somehow got myself promoted, and I am exhausted. So I haven't really watched anything. I think this weekend I'm going to try to see Alien. Tomorrow I'm going to a concert, so you're going to get a full recap of that next week. And I'm assuming it's going to be disastrous because I'm an old man and I shouldn't be in the pit, and I definitely shouldn't be in the pit.
When you're in the pit, you're going to punch and kick.
Oh yeah,
you're going to fuck up shit.
It's just one of them days.
Nice.
Yeah. So
wow.
That's what I've been doing.
We turned that into 2 song references at the same time.
Exactly.
Very well done. Okay, that's fine. Moving on. What's in theaters this week? Well, as Jordan had mentioned, Borderlands. It's probably your last chance to catch it before they yank that thing out of there. Borderlands did not do well. In fact, it opened up, I think, to like $8-point-something million worldwide.
8.8,
and as of today, as we're doing this show, $15.5 million worldwide. The majority of it, the United States. The rest of the world barely made over $4 million for this movie.
And this is a movie that I think cost $160 million to make. Like, this will be one of the biggest disappointments in Hollywood. It's going to be one of the biggest losses in Hollywood. And it's just, a lot of reviewers are saying this movie came out 10 years too late. And they should have been rated R. And they had older actors in roles that meant for 20-year-olds. Like, it's just move after move, just bad and it sucks because I like a lot of the cast, and it's just they didn't belong where they belong.
I don't care. Look, I don't care if Kevin. I'm tired of.
I can't stand Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart's tired of seeing him in there, and then I think Jack Black's one of the voices.
He's Claptrap, which I didn't like that casting to begin with, and after hearing the voice, I was like, But
they should have,
Jack Black.
like everyone else said when this was announced. A lot of the stuff is CGI or animated. They're not real people. Keep the voice talent from the games. Why 100%. Didn't you use that there? The ones that everyone's familiar with the properties. It's definitely it's sort of fan service, but it's doing right by the fans. And for whoever the human roles have to be, if you got to cast a big star or two in order to get people outside of knowing the game franchise to see the movie, that's the compromise. Yeah. I think if they would have kept the voice talent for the game in the movie, people would have been okay or more likely to see this or give it a chance. But everyone hated this since it's been announced. It took forever, and it's bombed, and rightfully so. So that'll be out of theaters very, very soon.
It goes back to our interview with Jeff Bergman, which you guys can check out. We segmented that out on YouTube, where he talked about he had to audition for roles he's already played against celebrity actors that they wanted to just put in there. And it's just, that's the state of what it has. This is it. They should have kept, like you said, some of the voice talent for these animated characters characters that we know and love. It's like if they made a Portal movie, you want to hear GLaDOS as GLaDOS. You don't want to hear Kevin Hart doing GLaDOS. You know what I mean? Like, don't put a celebrity in there. Who cares?
So if you're looking for something to torture yourself with, if you want, go see it before they yank it out of theaters right now. What is Cuckoo?
It's a independent horror movie. It's like a girl who goes to stay with her family to run like a hotel, and then she ends up working for something. The trailers are very weird and vague, and it involves possibly like a doctor doing human experiments and making like these weird bird people. It looks very weird and trippy. I want to see it. It's getting good reviews.
Is it almost like a human, like a tusk or a human centipede?
Kind of, yes. I'm thinking that's the way it's going to go. I'm going to check it out at some point. I'll let you know. But
you report back. You like that stuff. You report back and let us know if that's worth our time watching. And then also Alien Romulus.
That is getting great reviews, and it looks terrifying.
So that is out this weekend, so you can go and see that. Available on demand is Twisters already. It's only been 3 weeks.
3 weeks, which is why I think Borderlands will be probably video on demand within a week
Sunday.
So. Yeah, by the end of this sentence.
The start of business on Monday. It'll be available for your iTunes rental purchases. So Twisters is on video on demand. I think I'm actually going to throw the few bucks that way.
It's a fun
watch
movie.
It there. I've heard good things. Instead of waiting for it to come to a streaming service, I'll just do that for now. Speaking of streaming services, HBO Max, if you're looking for a Rick and Morty fix, the anime Rick and Morty, which people online were like, this is so amazing, it's great they're doing that. I could give a fuck about the anime stuff.
I'm kind of just over the show. Like, I hate to say it, but I'm just, after all the voice talent change and just I'm over it. Like, it sucks. And I didn't want to feel that way, but here we are.
It lost all momentum when Justin Roiland got accused and ousted, and I think anything that was going for the hype train for that thing is long gone.
Right.
On Netflix, Umbrella Academy Season 5, as we've said a few times now, it's available all 6 episodes, I think it's
only 6, yeah.
Is it for the full, is this the full season, or is this like
I believe this is it.
Season?
I think this is the season, yeah.
All right. Well, that's all out there if you want to go and watch that. Let's see. Next weekend, The Crow remake.
That shit. Like, that is disappointing.
Have fun with that. Let's see.
There's really not much coming out right now. Like there's like that one
it's
like
end of
little
summer.
lull.
Everybody's living their lives, and before school starts. I mean, school started out by you in July. The rest of the country has been now this week. Kids started, and then on the East Coast it starts right after Labor Day. So everybody's involved with their families and last minute vacation stuff. So. Yeah, you'll start getting the push for the fall movies, the horror movies for Halloween, and the big winter releases going in between
all the Christmas holiday season type stuff. Yeah.
Which look, I hate the heat. I enjoy the summer for certain things. I love the pool open, but I've hated this summer especially because there's been so many days in the East Coast that it's been over 100 degrees.
Right.
And I don't give a fuck. I love the fall. The fall is fantastic. It's the best time of the year, September through December, because it's all the hype. Everything's happening all at once. Family stuff, holidays, all fun. Looking forward to that. All right. Other news going on. Paramount is shutting down their television studio division to cut costs. Back in July, Paramount announced an $8 billion merger with Skydance Media, and it's expected to be done by September of 2025. And one of the things that has to go, Paramount Television, where if you're not familiar with Paramount Television, I think they produced Frasier.
I think so.
Frasier
They did
and Cheers.
Reacher.
Yeah. They had a lot of people on their slate for television production.
They did the Knuckles TV show that they just came out.
Eliminated their entire television division.
They are trying to cut $500 million, and that's where they feel like they need to do it.
I'm empty. I need a refill. Yeah, so that's really sad. And,
it is.
Paramount was a major ordeal for so long, and then that's just going to eventually fade away. I forgot what the new Paramount Network name is going to be called. It's something with an N.
Oh, I don't know.
I know half the audience out there is already screaming the horrible thing that they can, and that's all on you, none on us. But yeah, there's Paramount. It's like Paramount's Next or something. I forget what they're doing. Anyway, Paramount's in trouble. We talked about Borderlands bombing. Some Marvel news. The opposite of. Some Marvel news for you. Deadpool and Wolverine officially earlier this week broke the $1 billion barrier and is still going. It's still in theaters now. They did not yank it. They're going to keep it there. It'll probably be there through Labor Day because people have been going back for a second and a third time.
Yeah, word on all the various sites that I go on is that most likely it'll hit streaming probably mid to late October, give or take.
Right.
So they're going to keep this as long as they can. The hype is still behind it. Surprisingly, even with all the, 2-week mark, reveals of all the cameos and all the stuff, people are still not caring. They want to go. Like, they want to see this movie.
Let's just go back. The last reported day that I have on this report here was Wednesday of this week, August 14th.
For $1 billion.
Do you want to know what the movie made on a single day?
I'm guessing
$5.2 million.
I was going to say, for a movie that's already been out 3 weeks. Yeah.
In one day, it made more than half of what Borderlands did its opening weekend.
Right.
And that's, 2 weeks removed?
Yeah.
So as of this date right now...
I think we're in like week 3 or week 4. I think week 3.
It's well over $1 billion that this is running. It is still running strong. Look, it's about even for domestic intake and international intake.
Which is pretty wild.
Yeah. So that's not going to be leaving anytime soon. Twisters is still in the theater.
Yeah, but it's also video on demand. I mean, it's slowing down in the theaters. They don't ever pull them from the theater, but they give you the option to watch it at home to try to get more of that money.
Worldwide, it's made a total of $315 million, which is not bad at all.
Not for that, no.
What it is. Despicable Me 4 is still doing well. Oh, that's almost close to $1 billion too.
I was going to say, didn't Inside Out 2 made a huge ton of money? And I think stayed in the theaters for a very long time. It might still be there.
What is this movie, It Ends With Us? What is this?
Oh, that's the Blake Lively movie that just came out like the same weekend as Borderlands and trounced it. I think it made like $50 million.
It's totally right now. It's worldwide. It's almost at $100 million.
Yeah. You've got Blake Lively. She's jumping on the bandwagon with,
Lady
Ryan
Deadpool.
Reynolds and all this stuff. So it was going to make money.
All right. Well, anyway, so Deadpool still doing good. We also got a trailer for Kraven the Hunter.
Oh my God!
Which is the Marvel division that Sony distributes. Looks terrible. The Rhino character looks like the rock eating guy from Neverending Story.
Rock Crusher.
Yeah, and
you used the proper name when you sent it in a text the other day. I'm like, I'm impressed.
Yes.
That was very impressive. But yes, he was commonly known as the Rock Eater, Rock Crusher.
So that's the movie's coming out December 13th.
It looks so bad, and this trailer looked better than the original one that they put out. They delayed it almost a year. Like it was supposed to be out last year.
Yeah,
and they delayed it a year. They're throwing in the Rhino. They got Kraven the Hunter. I think Chameleon is in it. I think what happens is they're throwing in all these villains, which gives Sony the longevity with the property, which means you'll never see these characters show up in a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Like they're just killing anything that can make Spider-Man profitable.
No one cares.
No, it looks bad. It looks really bad.
All right. Moving on to D23, which happened while we were at San Diego. A lot of news that came out from there. We'll stay with Marvel. New footage came out for Ironheart, which I don't know why anybody cares about that at this point. It's 2 years removed from Black Panther 2 when she was introduced, and they lost all momentum with the last phase and everything. Like this is going to be something like it's going to be on TV, and no one's really going to care at all.
Yeah,
that this.
I saw the leaked trailer. It doesn't absolutely look terrible, but you're right. It's so far removed from when they introduced her, so far removed from Iron Man, passing out, passing away, and Endgame. Like there's no room for it anymore. I don't care.
So they had the whole cast on stage. They showed a trailer in the auditorium. It comes out on Disney Plus September 3rd of 2025. So you're having
we'll
this
have a whole year,
and you're still waiting another year for this stuff. Why do it now?
Do you think they had it ready, and because they want to spread things out to their new model where they're going to try to limit what they put out?
But they should have saved this thing for next summer and then go, hey, it's coming out in 2 months, so that they would at least have some sort of momentum going in for it, but they did not. So
no.
So there was that. Then something that does have a lot of momentum and people were excited about, Daredevil Born Again, which is the new Daredevil series coming to Disney Plus in March of 2025. They had the entire cast on stage, and Vincent D'Onofrio said it will go much further with the violence than the Netflix version.
I'm excited for that.
Now, the Netflix version was 3 seasons, I think.
3 seasons.
And was very dark, very gritty, a lot of violence. Because it's a street level superhero, so it's not like mystical powers and all of that stuff. It's his extrasensory. He doesn't have ESP. He has
no. It was he could hear at like echolocation.
Yeah, it's
that's
like
what it basically is. Yeah, sonar.
Yeah. So it was pretty gruesome, pretty violent, and even though they cartooned Kingpin up a bit for the Hawkeye series,
right?
That's the version of Kingpin we're going to have now from Echo, from this, where you can punch him and stab him in the stomach and it's not going to do much to him at all. That kind of thing.
That's more comic book accurate, yeah.
Everyone was worried about, it's going to go to Disney, it's going to soften. Well, we just saw what Deadpool did, and they didn't soften it at all. Now they're saying the violence is going to be worse in this series because this also includes Punisher, and it's not 2 separate series. He's in the trailer. You see Frank Castle with Matt Murdock. So I'm excited.
Very excited. Did you see the trailer, the leaked trailer on that one?
I did.
I did too. And I was very impressed with it. Even the shaky cam from your cell phone footage, I'm sitting there going, I want this out right now. Yeah. Like, I want to see this right now.
It looks really good.
Very excited.
But again, we're waiting 8 months before that.
Yeah, it doesn't come until March, yeah.
What else do we have here? We had, they had new footage for Agatha All Along.
Didn't see that.
Catherine Hahn and her whole coven show up on stage for their presentation, and it's coming out September 18th on Disney Plus. So there was actually some nice fervor around that.
It's crazy that with the announcements at Comic-Con and all this stuff, I'm not even like super excited for Agatha, but because I'm excited for what the phases are going to bring us, that I'm excited again to watch something Marvel. Yeah.
Right.
Like I'm all in and I don't care.
I'm actually looking forward to it. It kind of looks like Law and Order meets like an independent horror kind of thing.
That'd be kind of cool.
You know, like if you did Law and Order meets what True Detective should have been with the Yellow King, you know, and instead of having that big ending that let go and fell apart, I think that's what they're going to do here with this. So, and then it ties in with Wanda. Maybe this is the rebirth of Wanda. Maybe they resurrect Wanda. You don't know. So it'll be fine. And then, of course, you know, from San Diego Comic-Con, where we had the big Doctor Doom revelation with Robert Downey Jr. coming back in there. Doctor Doom and War Machine will appear in season 4 of Fortnite.
Oh man, you have no idea the lead up to this season. I think it comes out as this airs on radio on Friday. My kid has been talking about it all week long. Next week we get more Overwatch season, but he was telling me he wants to take tomorrow off, which I'm proud of because this is how I used to be with like Halo and stuff like that. Just like take a day off work
and like your parents used to be. No,
they just made me go to school. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he has been talking about this all week. They're bringing in all kinds of characters from Marvel again. But yeah,
Jordan
Dr.
talking
Doom.
to his kid.
You need to shut your mouth.
I sent you that picture of me saluting my son. So trust me, that's something I definitely would have said.
So say what you want about the Fortnite game. You could say it's goofy or whatever, but the game is pretty much invincible. It's been around for many years.
It's a moneymaker.
The game has been a moneymaker. It has had so many celebrity and music tie-ins. They had concerts
within
the waiting lobby of the game where they had Marshmello. He performed. Weezer did something for Fortnite.
I know, like Travis Scott, Eminem.
There was all these things.
Ariana Grande did
and then
one. Yeah.
Disney, Marvel has, and Star Wars have all been involved in some way, shape, or form of having character and skins released in the game. Thanos was in the game for a short period of time. Loki was in there. I think Darth Vader was in there.
When I started playing the game was around when the pandemic was kind of at its full run, and my son wanted something to play and I wanted something to play with him. So he got into Fortnite. So I said, okay, let's play Fortnite. And it was right after the season where Galactus apparently came in and destroyed the island. So like that was every season they destroyed the map, redo it, do all this stuff.
The last time I saw anything with the game was when like the planet got sucked into a black hole.
Yeah.
And then for like 3 days, people were going onto the website to look and it was just a black hole. Yeah. There was nothing there. And then all of a sudden, it came back with a whole new map and whatever. They do a great job with their tie-ins, their map development, the music tie-ins, and just overall branding and marketing for that game. It's one of those games that, look, if Call of Duty wasn't as popular as it was, they would do something like this. But the other games like PUBG and everything that tries to be super realistic, and we're not as cartoony as Call of Duty. Yeah, but you're also not as successful.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. As you saw last night, inviting me into the game, I was playing Call of Duty. They have done this where they are now being silly and doing these big Warzone type things. You can buy skins. You could literally buy. Right now, they have Rhea Ripley as a skin you can get in Call of Duty. You're running around as a half-naked wrestler from Australia. Like, it's just they are doing all these things to compete with how big Fortnite has become.
Right.
You know, they may not being super cartoony, but like they're doing they saw what works and they're trying to emulate it. And it's just I don't know what they're bringing as far as money goes with that stuff, but Fortnite is just, you're not going to stop it.
Right.
So,
well, Fortnite's been that way since it started. Call of Duty is adapting to it now, and not that that's a bad thing, but they're adapting to it now. Fortnite's been that since it started.
Yeah.
So it kind of set the trend. It's like, hey, there's ways to do this correctly if you get everybody involved. And Fortnite is, I know people say goofy, cartoony, whatever, but kids are playing it, adults are playing it. They're getting all kinds of generations involved with that game. So they're doing something right. So look for that. All right, let's speed through the rest of here. Here's what Disney had to announce. You got a first look at Tron Ares. And the cast was on stage. I hate Jared Leto. I think he stinks and he's annoying. And he's ruined a lot of other properties that he's been in. But yeah, apparently they have him starring as video game Jesus.
Well, his name is Ares, so he's even in the title.
But the big part of that was announcing that Nine Inch Nails is reuniting to make the soundtrack for the movie.
That is so exciting.
That is exciting.
I'm so happy for it. When they did it and they like the lasers come down to do the logo, I was just like,
when I saw the footage leak on Twitter and I'm seeing the eye in the middle, I'm like, oh, is this Incredibles 3? And then no, it turned into because it's red, it's yellow, it's the lasers, the eye is right there. You're thinking, and then it's not.
They did show a trailer that is also leaked online. I'm excited for it. It looks fun. However, I still Jared Leto is the worst, and that's the part that I worry about. There was showing light cycles in real life. So like someone was getting the car was getting cut in half by the light cycle thing, and I got so excited. I want to go back to watch the second movie again, and I don't know. Hopefully this is good. We'll see.
What else was announced? Live action Snow White footage was shown, revealing Rachel Zegler as Snow White and Gal Gadot as the evil queen. The CGI for the dwarves was upsetting a lot of people. And you have Peter Dinklage to thank for that, because he's the one who got all butthurt and was rallying against this movie about the dwarves as an outdated thing, and it's actually bullying. No, maybe not bullying. Well, it's not racist. It's not homophobic. It's not. I don't know what you call it. It's discrimination.
Yeah,
they were saying for all this stuff, and all I could think of, and then apparently everybody else now is on board with this, is all you did was cost 7 dwarves their actual jobs.
Well, the original footage that leaked a long time ago when they were filming this is each dwarf was different, where it was, oh, look, there's the black guy, there's the Mexican dude. It was a very inclusive cast of little people. Mm-hmm. And that's what people were rallying against. And then, he came out and said, well, why does it have to be dwarves, all this stuff. And then, now we got this bastardization CGI disgusting mess, and it looks terrible.
Where was he screaming when they did Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompas for the what was it, Wonka, the last Wonka movie?
Yeah, the last Wonka movie.
Yeah, where was he screaming about that? Nowhere. Peter Dinklage should just shut the fuck up. All right, so that's coming out there March 21st next year. Also saw footage of the live action Mufasa, The Lion King. That's the prequel.
Ugh.
New songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda. I do enjoy him and his work.
Disney bought him.
That is coming out December 20th of this year.
Ooh.
We also got to see the Moana 2 trailer from D23. The Rock and I forget the young lady's name who plays Moana in the.
I think her last name is like Carvalho or something like that. I forget her first name.
Yeah, so she's. They both came out, introduced the trailer. I didn't see a date for that, so I apologize. I don't have that on my list here. We also saw.
I think it's November. Actually, I think it's this year.
Of this year, okay.
Yeah.
We also saw a live action clip of Lilo and Stitch,
which is coming. Sounds weird, but
it does sound very weird. I've never even seen the other movies. I
like the original. It's fun.
Comes out September 2025. There was also news about Zootopia 2, Frozen 3, Incredibles 3. What else do we have here? There was news about the new Avatar movie, which I don't know why anybody cares about that, but it's called Avatar. Avatar. Yeah, it should. Avatar. Retire Avatar. Avatar Fire and Ash.
Ugh.
I don't have a release date on that. Freaky Friday 2. Who needed a sequel to that with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan? But that's now a thing, and it's coming. What did you just delete that I was about to read?
I put more Frozen 3 on there, but you'd already put it, so I got rid of it, so you didn't read it.
Gotcha. New Villains Land announced for Magic Kingdom, and I didn't hear that. What are they doing there?
So they're developing an entire land dedicated to just villains. So it's going to have like a dark castle. It's going to have like all the creepy characters. You're going to have like Facilier from Princess and the Frog. You're going to have the evil queen. It's just dedicated solely, how like princesses have their thing, completely villain centric. So it's going to be pretty
one of the
cool.
more popular things they do is during Halloween season.
Mm-hmm.
When they do Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. The parade at night
It's the villains parade.
It's not any of the regular characters. It's all the villains from all the properties.
You got the Headless Horseman riding around, and then you got all the villains doing their thing. But yeah, they're dedicating an entire land.
Flying in. Yeah, you've got everything in there. All the villains are doing the parade, the Main Street. What is it? The Main Street Electric Parade.
Yeah,
it turns into all the villains doing it. Fantastic. So yeah, it makes sense to have a villains only park. That would be fantastic. South American theme land to open in Animal Kingdom.
Yep.
The dinosaur ride to be replaced by new Indiana Jones ride. Oh, so they're moving Indiana Jones from Hollywood Studios?
No. Indiana Jones in Hollywood Studios is a stunt show. There's no official ride for Indiana Jones at Disney World. They have one, I think, overseas in Paris. They have one on the West Coast at Disneyland. This is going to be an entirely new ride, new theme to fit in where Dinosaur is, which uses the same ride system as the Indiana Jones ride on the West Coast. So they're going to replace that with Indiana Jones, which it's kind of sad. I like the dinosaur ride. And then they're doing an Encanto ride. So they're doing a whole South American themed land because in that area is
my kid loves that movie.
Yeah. So they're
movie, listens to the soundtrack. I know almost every song from that thing now.
So they're going to do a land dedicated to like South American jungles and stuff like that. So Encanto is getting their own spot. Indiana Jones is getting on their own spot, and it's going to be interesting. What they have there now is kind of outdated. It's like a Dino Land USA, where it's like, oh, we got a carnival vibe, and they're going to get rid of it. They're going to just completely gut it and build a whole new section. So.
And Avatar Land is going to open in Disney's California Adventure.
Yeah, so the West Coast is getting their own Avatar stuff.
Okay.
Who cares?
There's
more, but who cares?
I'm going to have to run. I got to really skim through the last of it here. Lego announced that they're releasing, ties into Disney, Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas Lego set comes out September 6th. It's $200 for the Lego set. I think I will be buying that.
I know. I'm going to get it too. I just finished up the Jaws set, and I'm going to start the Lord of the Rings one here soon.
Can the rest of this wait till
we can wait? Who cares?
Okay.
You all got enough out of us.
We've got enough.
Eric's got to eat and go pee.
I got to do some other... Actually, no. I actually have something else I got to do. All right. It's time for the plugs. We need to get out of here. The music is hit. Jordan, what do you have for us?
When you're not catching me here, you can see me on I'll Watch It Later podcast, where we talk about movies. We talk about all kinds of fun stuff. We watch things that we probably should have watched a long time ago. This week, I believe we're going to be watching a Charles Grodin favorite, Midnight Run. So we're going to check that one out this weekend. Instagram at Watch Later Pod. My personal one is at Jinx Ronan, and YouTube, I'll Watch It Later podcast.
Thank you very much, sir. For me and for the show, it's Eric Nagel across the board on all social medias. Go follow us there. If you're listening to us on the iHeartRadio app, thank you very much for doing so. If you're going to listen to us on other platforms, Apple, Spotify, something like that, do us a kindness, go over there, leave us a positive review. It does help out the program. And if you want to join us live each and every week as we do said program, come into our live rooms on Twitch and on YouTube, all under It's Eric Nagel. And if you missed all of that stuff and you want to go back and see the produced final episodes of the show, they're all there available for you on our YouTube channel at It's Eric Nagel. All right, that is it. We do need to get out of here. So until the next time, everybody,
be excellent to each other.
And we'll be seeing you.
It's Eric Nagel.
I gotta go.
Huge laugh.
I gotta go.
Huge rolling in the aisle laugh. Go on.
All right, I'll do it.
Good. Get out of here, you big successful talk show host.
Alas, we're out of time.
Follow It's Eric Nagel on social media platforms. For ways to watch and listen to the show, or join us for the live shows, head over to itsericnagel.com. Yo, and remember to tell two friends so they can tell two friends, they can tell two friends, they can tell two friends, they can tell two friends. You get the idea.
Keep it real, homies.